Hello, it's Shannon here, and I'm so excited to be on Simon Says blog today, sharing with you some of the products from Waffle Flower's summer release. This stamp set is called the BBQ Sayings. I'll be using that today to create my card, as well as this stamp set, which is called Meet Up, and the coordinating or matching dies to the Meet Up stamp set. So I'll be using these three products today from Waffle Flower's summer release. First, I've got my card base. This is an A7 card base, so it is 5 by 7 once it's folded. I just took a piece of Neenah Desert Storm, cut it to 7 by 10, and then scored it in half and folded it. And that's how you make a A7 card base. I'm using my Misty here today, and I'm going to use this to help me stamp my images a couple of times. This is not necessary to do this. I'm going to be creating a background with these Meetups images. You do not have to have a Misty to do this. I just like to stamp my images twice so they're nice and bold. I'm pulling off several of the images. I'm going to basically use most of them except for the grill and the sentiments from the Meetup stamp set. And I'm pulling them off and just arranging them on this A7 card base, and to cover basically as much as I can to create a background. Ultimately, I'll end up cleaning these and repositioning these stamps and stamping other sections that I didn't quite get covered with the ones that I pulled off earlier. So I'm pulling off all the images. There's lots of really great meat images in this BBQ set, as well as corn and a shrimp skewer. So lots of fun images there, and I really like the bold lines. They're really graphic. I really like this set a lot. I think it's perfect for masculine cards. Clearly it's masculine, or intended to be masculine themed, but the images have a very strong masculine feel as well. So I think it's a perfect blend of theme and style for masculine cards. So I just am inking this up in VersaFine Onyx black ink, and I'm stamping it twice, just so it's nice and bold. And here I went and cut ahead and rearranged the same stamps as earlier to cover the right portion of my card. And then I have one more portion left, so I will, after I stamp this again, I will rearrange my card base and then stamp and rearrange the stamps and stamp the upper portion of my A7 card. So there we go. Got it rearranged here, the same images, and stamping the upper portion. The only trick to this, I think, to get a nice background when you repeat images, is just keep your spacing relatively consistent. You want to try to have about the same size gap around all your images. I think that's the only key to doing these kind of backgrounds. I love to do backgrounds like this. I think it's a great way to stretch your sets, and also make sure you're creating your own pattern paper, which is really fun. Okay, so I stamped the grill and the tools and the ribs from the Meetup set on a piece of Neenah Solar white cardstock, and I stamped them in Memento Tuxedo black ink because it's a Copic friendly ink. And now I'm going to Copic color them. The ketchup bottle, or I'm going to hopefully make it look like a barbecue sauce bottle, is from the BBQ Sayings set. So that one's not from the same set. It's not from the Meetup set. I've colored the center of the grill with a gray. It's C3. And now I'm taking black, which is 100, and coloring in the rest of the grill. I just did that because I'm working with a very limited number of Copics. I only have 24, and that gray right there will just help me to create that gradation, because I don't have a lot of grays. I only have one gray in this black, so a little bit of gray there in the center will, and my feathering, which is really important when you don't have a lot of my feathering stroke, or feathering my marks. My coloring will help to create that gradation. It's a little bit hard to see right now, but when the photos, you'll see it a little bit better, that gradation. It's just going to have like a glare at the center of the grill, very soft. Okay, so that's done. Now I'm going to do the legs. So I've got the same gray, C3, and I'm just coloring the legs here. And then I will, once I finish the legs on the grill, I'll move on to the tools, and I'll color in all the metal parts of the tools with that gray. And I'm not trying to do super realistic coloring here. Just I do a little attempt to get it to make it have some gradation and some shape, but I'm not super focused on realistic here. So what I'm doing now is just taking that gray again and going over the edge of the legs just to make them a little darker. So and then I'm doing the same thing, going over portions of the metal portions of the tools one more time, just a little. I'm not doing the whole thing, just the edge of the tools, just to kind of make that section a little darker gray, so it has a little bit of value and a little bit more shape. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to brown. This is E37, and I'm just coloring in all the handles of the grill tools. And once I finish with my first coat, I'll go back over again with the brown just on one portion or one edge, just to make it have a little bit more value and look a little bit darker. I'm also going to take the same brown and color the edges of the ribs with that brown as well. And so now I'm doing that little bit, just going on the edge, and that second layer of brown will make that part a little darker and adds a little bit value to the image. Now I'm going to take E21 and color the rest of the ribs in. This is going to be my base, and then I'm going to take red. This is lipstick red, which is R29, and go over. And I just put that E21 down just to kind of take away some of that intensity of the red. I want it to be a little bit softer. And now I'm taking the brown and going over the edges, blending that red and brown a little bit together, not doing the very center, just the edges again where I had the brown at the very beginning when I started. And then I'll take some of that red again, and there it is, and then I will blend a little bit more, and I'm adding a little bit of red to the sides of the ribs too, just to kind of help give them some roundness. And then I'll soften everything with a little bit of the E21. But first I'm going to do the bones, just add a little bit to the bones, and then that's it. Now I'm going to move on to cleaning my brush there, or cleaning my tip there. Now I'm moving on to the, I'm going to make this a barbecue sauce bottle. Coloring it in with the E21 as my base. Then taking the R29 and going over the edges. And when I color, I try to follow the curve of whatever I'm coloring. You saw me doing it earlier with the grill, and I'm also trying to follow the curve of the barbecue sauce bottle. So now I have that brown again, the E37, and I'm going on one edge, moving up, doing my feathered stroke, and then I'll take a little bit more red and soften the transition. And I will also again take that E21 just a little bit over the top to kind of take away some of that intensity of that red. I just don't want it to look, like ketchup. I kind of want it to be a little bit more on the brown side. Okay, so now I'm coloring the inside of the grill. I'm going to use a yellow, which is Y08, and I'm using an orange, which is YR07. And then I'll use my lipstick red again, which is R29. And then I will go back over with the orange, over that where the red and orange meet, that transition, color it a little bit more, and then I'll take a yellow and go back over where the yellow and orange meet and just color over a little bit to soften and blend it. Okay, so now I'm done with my coloring. I'm going to take the Meet Up matching dies, and I'm just going to die cut out these images that are from the Meet Up set. Now again, that barbecue sauce bottle is not from the Meet Up set, it's from the barbecue saying set, so there is not a coordinating die for that, so I will have to fussy cut that out, which I'm showing you right now. So I just fussy cut that out really quick, and then I'm now done with all my images. So I'm moving on to my sentiment. This is that's the barbecue saying stamp set. I'm going to use that barbecue star sentiment right there, and I'm going to stamp that on a scrap of black cardstock. This is Simon Says black cardstock. I'm just going to center it there, get it lined up so I have enough border around it, because I will have to fussy cut this out as well, and I want a little bit of a black border around. Using anti-static powder, ink it up in Versamark emboss ink, stamp it, and then I'll use Hero Arts white embossing powder to emboss the sentiment. So there it is, and I'll just pour that on top. I love these barbecue saying sentiments stamped on black. They're just, the lines are so bold. I just love the way they look stamped on black. It's just, I don't know, they just look so good. Okay, so I'm going to heat up my heat gun here, and then I will heat set the white embossing powder. So I'm just heat setting that now, and now I'm going to move on to fussy cutting it out. So I will just rotate this. I really like my small scissors, so if you have any small scissors, that will do for fussy cutting. And I'll fussy cut this out really quick. And there's two parts there on the, so I've completely fussy cut out, except for there's two little parts where the ribbon and the star meet, and I really want to remove that little bit of paper in between there, because I'm going to tuck images behind there, and I want them to kind of poke out through that little spot there. I just think it looks nice that way, but you don't have to do that. But I'm using my X-Acto knife to achieve that, and it's actually really, really easy to do. So just cutting those those areas open with my X-Acto knife. But again, you can totally leave those in there. Wouldn't hurt it at all. So once I get that, you have to go back over it a couple times just so you can cut all the way through, because this is a 100-pound cardstock. Alright, so now it's time to assemble. I got everything done. So I cut a piece of vellum. This is 5 3/4 by 3 7/8. I cut it just to fit nicely inside in the center of my A7 card. I've got multi liquid adhesive here, and I'm just going to adhere the ribs straight down onto the grill, and now I'm going to start positioning everything. So I'm going to take my barbecue tools and my sauce and put them in the upper portion of my vellum, and then I'm going to take that sentiment and center it over those tools. So I'm just going to get everything just the way I like it here, using my vellum to kind of help me get everything as a guide, to help make sure I get everything, the spacing right on everything, so it's centered nicely on that vellum panel. And once I get it just right, I'm going to use my washi tape here to hold everything in place and while I glue it. I love doing this washi tape trick for positioning things. It just is really made positioning things on my cards just so much easier and so much less stressful. So I've got everything pretty much the way I want it. So I'm just going to grab some washi tape here, some strips of washi tape, and I'm going to place them over my separate elements. So I'm going to make sure there's a piece of washi tape, and all my pieces of washi tape are connected, but there has to be a piece of washi tape over each one of my separate elements. So right now I have that one tool that's kind of a little loose, and now I'm going to connect it to all three, the star and the grill. So now all my tools and the star and the grill are all connected. Now I'm going to use my liquid adhesive and apply it just to the back of the tools, the barbecue sauce, and the grill. So I'm not putting it on the back of the star sentiment. I want to put that sentiment up on craft foam, so I don't want to put any adhesive on it right now. And I'm just going to glue these straight down onto my vellum panel. And see, everything's lined up still. So handy using this washi tape. And now I'm just going to peel the washi tape off, and that way I can get to my sentiment and add craft foam to the back of it. See, everything's all perfectly in position, and now I'm going to cut some pieces of craft foam, some strips, and add them to the back of my sentiment. And this will just add some depth and a little bit more a little bit more to my card base, or to my card. And now I'm going to pull off all the little strips, of the foam tape and then stick it right back where it was before. There you go. So fun. Such a great masculine card. And the last thing I'm going to, well, actually I have two more things I'm going to do. I got to adhere this panel to my card base. So I'm just going to put the liquid adhesive on the back sides of the tools, the grill, and the barbecue sauce. That way you won't see it through the vellum. So it's well hidden. And then the last thing I'm going to do is take some glossy accents and I'm going to apply it to the ribs and the barbecue sauce, and that will finish me up. So these two stamp sets are part of Waffle Flower Summer Release. There are also 10 other stamp sets that are part of Waffle Flower's release. A lot of beautiful sets, some more Bear and Bird stamp set as well as some more Flora stamp sets. Really beautiful. I just adore this release and I hope you guys like it too. And these stamp sets are actually done by my husband. So I'm really proud and excited about these stamp sets and I hope you guys like them. I think they're really great for making masculine cards. So I'm just getting that glossy accents on the bottle too. That just kind of balances it out. And I'm going to use a little needle here just to tuck it underneath the star and that will finish me up today. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this card and I hope you check out all the new stamps and dies that are part of Waffle Flower Summer Release. Have a wonderful day.